Thanks for showing up. I hope you'll find this interesting, even though this is not about the cost of computing. This is not about how to develop more powerful software faster. And this is not about how to close the digital divide, which may or may not be a good thing. This is about something much more important, which is usually neglected entirely. This is about protecting the freedom of computer users. I'm sure you're as aware as I am that most of the time when people judge programs considering whether to use them, they don't even ask the question, does this program respect my freedom? Does this program respect the social solidarity of my community? They only ask practical, superficial questions, such as, is it convenient? Is it reliable? What does it cost? Well, it makes sense to think about those things, but not at the expense of your freedom. That is precisely what free software is all about. Free software means software that respects the user's freedom. So that's why you should think of free speech, not free beer. It doesn't mean gratis software. We're not talking about price. Price is a detail, a side issue. We're talking about something that's important, morally important in its own right. Software which is not free is proprietary software, user-subjugating software. It keeps the users divided and helpless. Divided because they're forbidden to redistribute it, and helpless because they don't have the source code, so they can't change it. They can't even verify what it's really doing to them. And thus, proprietary software is part of an unjust social system, one in which the developer subjugates the users. It's a kind of colonial system. It's electronic colonization, not by countries, as 100 years ago, but by companies. But nonetheless, you can find a lot of similarities between this colonial system and other colonial systems. However, it's not enough just to say, I'm in favor of freedom. It's very easy to say that because it's vague. Even Bush says he's in favor of freedom, and he doesn't know what the word means. Bush doesn't even recognize freedom after he stepped on it. So we have to be more specific to make a meaningful statement. A program is free software if the user has 4 essential freedoms. Freedom 0 is the freedom to run the program as you wish. Freedom 1 is the freedom to study the source code and change it so that the program does what you wish. Freedom 2 is the freedom to help your neighbor. That's the freedom to distribute exact copies to others when you wish. Now, that could be giving away copies. It could be selling copies. You should be free to do either one. And freedom 3 is the freedom to distribute, is the freedom to contribute to your community, the freedom to distribute copies of your modified versions when you wish. Note that each of these is the freedom to do something if you wish, when you wish. It's not an obligation. With a free program, you're not required to run it. You're not required to study the source code, and if you do, you're not required to change it. You're not